For over a century, boxing has been one of the biggest sports on earth. Millions watch, billions know the champions, and yet the sport has a problem. The best fighters don't always fight each other. Fans wait years for dream matchups. Promoters argue, organizations disagree, and sometimes a fighter's prime disappears before the biggest fight ever happens. For many fans, boxing feels stuck between tradition and progress. But now, a revolution is coming, and it could change combat sports forever.
To understand the revolution, we first need to understand the problem. Unlike many sports, boxing has no single league. There is no boxing version of the NFL, no boxing version of the NBA. Instead, the sport is divided between promoters, broadcasters, sanctioning bodies, and managers. Everyone has different interests, everyone wants control, and that often creates chaos. A champion might hold one belt, another champion holds a different belt. Fans are left wondering who is actually the best. Then something unusual happened. A new force entered boxing, someone with resources, influence, and a vision. That force was led by Turki Al-Sheikh. Instead of protecting boxing's old divisions, the goal was simple: make the biggest fights happen. No excuses, no endless negotiations, no waiting 5 years. Suddenly, dream fights started becoming reality. Fights fans thought would never happen were actually signed, and the boxing world paid attention. The new strategy was different. Instead of building endless hype for future fights, the biggest fights were made immediately. Fans didn't need to imagine. They could finally watch. Heavyweight clashes, super fights, champions versus champions. The focus shifted from protecting records to creating unforgettable events. And for many fans, this felt like the boxing they always wanted. But the revolution isn't only about matchmaking. Technology is entering combat sports faster than ever before. Artificial intelligence, advanced statistics, real-time performance tracking, data that can analyze punches, movement, defense, and efficiency. In the future, fans may understand fights in ways that were impossible before. Every movement, every mistake, every advantage, measured instantly. And that's where things become interesting. Because if boxing becomes easier to understand, more exciting to follow, and consistently delivers elite matchups, other combat sports may face serious competition. For years, organizations like the Ultimate Fighting Championship dominated the conversation around combat sports. Their formula was simple: the best usually fought the best. Now boxing is trying to achieve the same thing, and if it succeeds, the battle for global attention could become more intense than ever. The next generation consumes sports differently. They don't want complicated politics. They don't want endless waiting. They want action. Now, highlights spread instantly across social media. A single knockout can reach millions of people in minutes. The winners of tomorrow won't simply be the best athletes. They'll be the sports that understand modern attention. And boxing is adapting faster than many expected. Will this revolution save boxing? Nobody knows. Will it completely transform combat sports? Maybe. But one thing is certain: for the first time in years, boxing feels unpredictable again. The biggest fights are happening. New money is entering the sport. Technology is changing how fans experience competition, and a new generation is paying attention. The revolution has already begun. The only question now is, how far will it go? For decades, an undefeated record became one of boxing's most valuable assets. 0 losses, perfect statistics, a clean reputation. But there was a problem. Sometimes fighters became so focused on protecting that 0 that they stopped taking risks. Dangerous opponents were avoided, difficult fights were delayed, and fans became frustrated. Because greatness isn't built by avoiding challenges, it's built by overcoming them. Now, a new mentality is emerging. The biggest stars are being encouraged to fight the toughest opponents available, not later, right now. And that could completely change how champions are remembered. Imagine this: 8 elite fighters, 1 division, 1 bracket, 1 champion, no debates, no confusion, just competition. For years, boxing rarely embraced large tournaments. The business structure made them difficult. But modern investors are beginning to think differently. Because tournaments create something fans love: certainty. Every round eliminates questions, every victory creates momentum, and every fight feels important. If tournaments become common, the entire boxing landscape could change. For much of modern history, major boxing events were concentrated in a few countries, but today, the sport is becoming truly global. Massive events are appearing in new regions, new audiences are discovering boxing, new sponsors are entering the industry, and new markets are spending billions on sports entertainment. The center of gravity is shifting. Boxing is no longer dependent on one nation, it's becoming a worldwide product. And that creates opportunities unlike anything the sport has seen before. Another revolution is happening behind the scenes: the battle for your screen. Traditional television once controlled boxing. Today, streaming platforms are competing for attention. Fights can be watched anywhere: phones, tablets, laptops, smart TVs. The audience is larger than ever before, but competition is also greater. Promotions must create events that people cannot ignore. Every fight card now competes with every form of entertainment on Earth, and only the strongest products survive. Then came something nobody expected: influencers, YouTubers, content creators. People who were never supposed to change boxing, yet somehow they did. Millions of young viewers entered the sport through creator-driven events. Traditional fans were skeptical. Critics laughed. But the numbers were impossible to ignore. A new audience had arrived, and many of those viewers eventually became boxing fans. Love it or hate it. The influencer era expanded the sport's reach, and boxing's future may include both worlds: traditional champions and digital superstars. The boxer of tomorrow may look very different from the boxer of yesterday. Training camps are evolving, sports science is evolving, recovery methods are evolving, data analysis is evolving. Future fighters could understand their bodies better than any generation before them. Every punch measured, every movement tracked, every weakness identified. The next great champion might not only be stronger, he might be smarter, faster, and more efficient than anyone we've ever seen. Every revolution begins with a promise, and every revolution faces a test. Can boxing maintain this momentum? Can the biggest fights continue? Can business interests stay aligned? Nobody knows. History is filled with sports that changed dramatically, only to return to old habits. But this moment feels different, because for the first time in years, fans believe change is possible, and belief is powerful. A few years ago, many people believed boxing was slowly losing ground. Today, the conversation feels completely different. The biggest fights are happening. New audiences are arriving. Technology is accelerating. Investment is increasing. And the sport is evolving faster than anyone expected. The revolution isn't a future prediction anymore. It's happening right now, and whether you're a lifelong boxing fan or someone watching from the outside, you may be witnessing the beginning of boxing's most important transformation in decades. The next chapter of combat sports could belong to boxing.